Tour the World is brought to you by TFE Hotels across Australia, New Zealand and Europe.
G'day there and welcome to Tour the World. You know, sometimes you don't have to travel too far from home to find something amazing. This week it's an all-Australian lineup here at TTW as we check out some awesome Aussie day tours and short guided holidays. And this series we've been checking in from some fabulous accommodation options around the country. This week I'm in the nation's capital at the newly refurbished Hotel Kurrajong, Canberra. Now this hotel has been at the heart of the Aussie political landscape since it opened back in 1926. More on that a little later. Right now, enough talking the talk. It's time to walk the walk in regional Victoria. Wow, Australia is such an incredibly beautiful place. But you know what? To get to some of the really, really amazing bits, you need to get off the big beaten tracks that we all use every day and onto some smaller beaten tracks. And that means standing on your own 2 feet.
Welcome to beautiful Apollo Bay in regional Victoria on the Great Ocean Road. This seaside town is also the official start of the Great Ocean Walk to the 12 Apostles. We're joining Park Trek on their fully accommodated guided walk along this picturesque piece of coastal Australia.
All right, day one, we're doing 6 kilometres from Marengo to Shelley Beach. Just a little walk in the park, really, a stretch of the legs. Now, it is possible to do the whole 105 kilometre walk from Apollo Bay to the 12 Apostles with Park Trek over 7 days. We're doing a 4-day version, which means you stay in one spot and you do sections of the walk each day. We are moving east to west. That's generally the way it's done, and that means there's no congestion on the track. You can feel like you've got the whole of the Great Ocean Road all to yourself.
This guided walk gives such a different perspective. The walk is suitable for anyone of a reasonable fitness level, and the views on offer are extraordinary. There's plenty of time to stop and meet the locals. Our guide Cindy's knowledge of the local ecology is wonderful. On to our accommodation at the Cape Otway Light Station, home to one of the country's most significant lighthouses, which has been in operation since 1848. We're staying in the original head lightkeeper's house, which now operates as a B&B. It's warm, comfortable and a unique piece of Aussie history to experience firsthand. All meals are included on this walk, and our guides Cindy and Alistair serve up a sensational menu of hearty home cooking.
All right, day 2. Now we're doing 16 kilometres from the Cape Otway Light Station all the way to Castle Cove. One of the things I absolutely love about this trip is the way the terrain changes. So for part of the day, we've been seeing this incredible, spectacular coastal scenery, just amazing. And then for our lunch stop, we're here at the Eyre River, which as you can see is completely different. It's green, it's lush, it's fertile. It's just an extraordinary trip. I'm loving it.
We also managed to slot in an optional visit to the nearby Mates Rest Rainforest Walk. Check with your guide if there's time for a stop here. Day 3, and this part of the Great Ocean coast feels incredibly wild and woolly. It's a definite favourite with Cindy.
So my favourite part about the Great Ocean Walk is from Melanesia Beach to Ryan's Den. And I think I really love it because it's so wild, untamed beauty, the rugged coastline, and you can hear the roaring sounds of the ocean. It's quite extraordinary.
All right, day 4, and this is our final day with Park Trek. What an incredible experience it's been. Today we're doing an 8-kilometre walk, just a little doddle, as one of our ladies said, from here at Princetown to one of Victoria's most iconic sites, the 12 Apostles. I can't wait.
There's a definite air of expectation as we set off from Princetown and on to the 12 Apostles. The majestic sea stacks carved by the pounding Southern Ocean will take your breath away. For more information on this touring experience, visit the Park Trek website.
When you walk, you see a lot more. You have the time to pause and look at the things you like. I'll probably be back.
Book Park Trek's amazing Great Ocean Walk now and receive a bonus $100 gift voucher at Bogong Equipment Melbourne, Australia's leading store for outdoor equipment. To redeem this offer, visit travelfactoryaustralia.com.au.
Now another travel tip from Sunwild Holidays, your tour specialists. Hotels are an important part of your holiday, so talk to a qualified travel agent like Sunwild Holidays. They have access to hundreds of deals and all hotels are selected based on quality and service. And you'll save time on research. For more travel tips and exclusive tour offers, visit the Sunwild Holidays website.
Now, if you're like me and an ice-cold beer whilst cruising through Victoria's beautiful Yarra Valley sounds like the perfect way to spend a day, well, today we are living the dream as we go dining and cidering on a tour that's filled with merriment and liquid satisfaction. Welcome to Aussie Brewery Tours. Just remember to leave your keys at home. Departing Melbourne's Federation Square, St Kilda and City Hotels, Aussie Brewery Tours offers small group tours to some of the best boutique breweries and cideries dotted around the stunning Yarra Valley. Our guide Scott shares his amazing knowledge on this history of the humble coldie and explains why he loves showing guests the local craft brewing scene. So mate, tell us about some of the breweries and cideries we see on tour.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's great for both the punter and us as a tour company because we get to take people to really different venues and different structures. So we sort of start off at White Rabbit, a much bigger sort of facility, owned by a bigger company, and they get to do some of the things that maybe the other breweries can't afford to get their hands on and things like that. So seasonals, one-off, single batches, all that kind of stuff. St Ronan cider, which you would have had the blueberry wines and the berry and the pear and apple champagnes and all that kind of stuff. You know, just completely different products, sort of blows people's minds a little bit what you can kind of do. We end up with Buckley's, which is a guy in a shed brewing beer. I mean, it's every Aussie bloke's dream, isn't it? You know, he's got the foosball table in there, the brewery out the back, the bar, absolutely phenomenal. Lunch, Hargraves Hill, top-ranked restaurant in the Yarra Valley now, so you know, people definitely get a good feed. They match their beers with their food really well, and again, they kind of mix it up and have some different beers in there every so often, which, you know, is something good for the punters to come down and have something that you wouldn't usually see. And then we end up here at Coldstream at the pub, so you can just sit in the beer garden in the afternoon and, you know, have a laugh, talk about the day, get to know each other a bit more, and then we roll. So it's just good that everywhere is different, and you get a really good look at the up and down, I guess, of the craft beer scene, from, you know, the big craft breweries right down to the man in his shed living the dream, I guess.
For more information on this amazing day out, just visit the Aussie Brewery Tours website.
Now here's your chance to win a touring package to amazing Thailand and Cambodia with our series competition. This prize for 2 people includes return airfares to Bangkok, 3 nights with breakfast at the fabulous Centara Grand at Central World, a 5-day boutique bike tour from Bangkok to Siem Reap with Grasshopper Adventures, suitable for riders of all levels, including accommodation, all meals and a sunrise visit to stunning Angkor Wat, and 2 final nights of pampering with breakfast at the Shintamani Club Resort in Siem Reap. For this incredible adventure, you'll both receive luggage to match, High Sierra wheeled duffel bags, backpacks and laptop backpacks. And gents, pack a holiday wardrobe to the value of $500 from our friends at Uberman Menswear in Brisbane. There are also 5 runner-up prize packs with a Travel-On anti-theft tour bag, Uberman tea and more. Just tell us in 25 words or less your most amazing travel adventure so far and why. To enter, visit tourtheworld.com.au.
All right, welcome to another amazing day here in the Harbour City. Now, it's no surprise that one of the most popular touring activities here in Sydney is, of course, the harbour cruise. That's a no-brainer. But not all harbour cruises are created equal. We have found an option for you that combines all the key sites along with spectacular scenery, culture, history, food. It's called the Sydney 7 Wonders Coastal Adventure with fantasy adventure cruising. Let's climb on board.
We polish off 7 Wonders numbers 1 and 2 pretty quickly, the much-loved coat hanger and the Sydney Opera House. Time to settle in for this fully guided day trip around the harbour and down the spectacular coast. Seven Wonders number 3, the Majestic Heads, forming a 2-kilometre wide entrance to Sydney Harbour. Number 4, beautiful Bondi Beach. And number 5, Bear Island.
Seven Wonder number 6, the exact spot where Lieutenant James Cook came ashore here in Botany Bay in 1770 after discovering the east coast of Australia. But the first inhabitants had of course been here a lot longer, and that's where we're headed next.
But first, time for a delicious included lunch. The fresh seafood is very popular. On to Royal National Park for a sandy stroll to our final stop.
Seven Wonder number 7, these amazing Aboriginal rock carvings, which are believed to be centuries old. And what's really incredible is you can still see something like this so close to Sydney's CBD. Amazing.
All this in one unforgettable day. Superb. To book, visit the website. Fantasy Adventure Cruising is offering 25% off their popular Sydney whale watching cruise. Just $60 per person. See the humpbacks or your next whale watching cruise is free. To book, visit travelfactoryaustralia.com.au.
A fabulous experience there in the amazing harbour city. Well, the beautiful Hotel Courage on Canberra was originally designed by John Smith Murdoch, who also designed nearby Old Parliament House. Now, 26 of the hotel's 147 rooms are in a heritage listed wing. The whole hotel has been extensively remodelled, but it's retained much of its original charm. It's absolutely stunning with all the mod cons you could possibly want. Well, coming up, we roll up our sleeves and pitch in with Parks Victoria and Conservation Volunteers Australia in regional Victoria's Little Desert National Park. Now, what could be better than exploring some of Australia's most amazing wild spaces and helping to preserve them and their small furry feathered residents for future generations? Well, with a NatureWise Eco Escape from Conservation Volunteers, that's exactly what you get. Now, we are out at the Little Desert Nature Lodge in Victoria, and it's time to get our troopy on the road.
We'll be working with Parks Victoria in the magnificent Mallee in Western Victoria to monitor wildlife populations in the Little Desert National Park. On arrival, I catch up with team leader Rod to find out more about the NatureWise program.
NatureWise Eco Escapes are a short duration holiday combined with hands-on conservation work. We're working with Parks Vic, and they are interested in finding out what animals, particularly the small ground animals, are in the parks, so they can incorporate that knowledge into their park management.
This escape includes 3 nights accommodation at the amazing Little Desert Nature Lodge in clean, comfortable ensuite rooms. The lodge is perfectly integrated into the surrounds of the national park. All meals are included and the menu is hearty and satisfying. Time to get to work, and Ranger Stewart gives us a briefing on some of the local residents.
The icon species that we sort of manage would be the red-tailed black cockatoo and the malleefowl. We also have a lot of other smaller marsupials like the Antichinus and all those sort of indicator species. Indicator species is just something that we can measure the health of an ecosystem. This particular one, we're going into more reserve management. We'll get cameras, put them out there, so when the little critters trigger photos to be taken, so we can work out what critters are here, and we just assess what their habitat requirements are, and then we do management in relation to that.
And how will that data be used?
Well, the data will influence how we manage these reserves. So if we find a lot of exotic animals that we can do some control measures on, then we might be able to do something to reduce the numbers.
Now, no experience is necessary to be a volley. You just need to be prepared to pitch in and lend a hand. But all work and no play makes Adam a dull boy. So thankfully, there is plenty of time to relax and get to know the local area.
There are guided nature walks through the national park with your NatureWise guide and around the lodge itself, which is predator-proof and home to lots of local wildlife.
There's quite a few different species of bird life. I think on this particular property we have 132 different species of birds have been recorded and over 200 species in the actual Little Desert National Park itself. We do get a few mammals. They're a little bit harder because most of them are nocturnal, so you've got to get out and about after dark to see the mammals.
One of the highlights of the program is a presentation on local Indigenous culture, including a dance lesson and a delicious bush foods feast. So what makes a NatureWise eco escape so rewarding?
Being able to see the critters is always the ultimate. Normally you wouldn't be able to see a lot of these nocturnal animals, so the NatureWise trips are good in that the other people that are generally doing them have like attitudes to what you have, so they're all there for the same reason.
And that's to preserve these amazing habitats. For more details, hop online. Want to lend a hand in the Little Desert National Park? Save $60 per person on this unique conservation short break, including all transport, accommodation and meals. To book, visit travelfactoryaustralia.com.au.
There are so many great reasons to visit the nation's capital, including some of our finest museums and galleries. And the Hotel Courage on Canberra, part of TFE Hotels, is the ideal location for your stay, located right in the heart of the parliamentary precinct of Barton. Now, there's another good reason. Jump online after the show to tfehotels.com for the latest special offers here at the hotel. And while you're here, try the modern Aussie cuisine. Thank you, that looks amazing, at Chifley's Bar and Grill. Superb. Well, coming up after the break, we saddle up for the ride of our lives in the Snowy Mountains. Wow, the drover and the stockman have been icons of Australian popular culture for more than a century. We've all grown up with stories like the man from Snowy River, Clancy of the Overflow. Well, it's still possible for city slickers like me to experience a little bit of that magic and romance. For this next Aussie touring adventure, we're doing a horseback riding trail on the western slopes of the Snowy Mountains with mountain ash trails. And I have everything crossed that we are going to see some wild brumbies.
Mountain ash trails are based in Tumbarumba, an easy 3 hours drive south of Canberra or 5 hours from Melbourne. Stock droving has always played a key role in this grazing region, and I'm keen to learn more about the legendary horsemen of the high country before joining my hosts Gary and Victoria on this 2-day camping and riding adventure. So I make a quick stop at the Tumbarumba Museum. Many of the brumbies that now inhabit the slopes of the Snowy Mountains are descended from the horses of these early pioneers. Next stop, our campsite in the Bago State Forest to settle in and find out what's in store for guests of mountain ash trails.
The main thing is they get to unwind, relax, appreciate the bush, appreciate our beautiful horses, the brumbies, and have a good laugh.
The horses are magnificent and all levels of riding ability are catered for. There's a maximum group size of 8 guests and complete flexibility when planning your itinerary.
If you and your partner want to come for a 4-day ride and you want to do 2 days of lunch ride, stay in the bed and breakfast with us, you can do that. Or we can go camping with the horses, or we can go pack riding with the horses.
Even glamping is an option. Time to saddle up before the all-important safety briefing. Then we head out into the magnificent Bago State Forest. These horses are trained using evidence-based methods from the Australian Equine Behaviour Centre. The ride is an absolutely extraordinary experience. Back at the campsite, and all meals while camping are included. The menu is delicious. After dinner, we while away the evening with the time-honoured tradition on the range of telling tales around the campfire. After an early start and a hot cuppa, time to get on the trail of the wild brumbies on a four-wheel drive tour with Gary. And it's not long before we spot our first herd. Absolutely amazing. Back to town for one final stop at a local winery.
Tumbarumba Wine Escapes is where we're taking you for a lunch or dinner, which is an option for anyone booking a trip. We can organise that. And most people really enjoy it. We try really hard to make it original and different and put a bit of love into it for people. Yeah.
For details on how to book, visit the website. Right now, you can book a 2-day glamping and horse riding adventure with Mountain Ash Trails for just $4.99 per person. Save 16%, including accommodation, all meals and trail riding. To book, visit travelfactoryaustralia.com.au.
Well, that's the show for this week. They say home is where the heart is, and we've absolutely loved bringing you these uniquely Australian touring experiences. It just reminds you of what it means to be an Aussie. But it's not over yet. Next week, part 2, including visits to the spectacular scenic rim in Queensland and the Victorian High Country. Special thanks this week to the fine folks at the historic Hotel Kurrajong in Canberra and TFE Hotels. Until next week, safe and happy travels.